Are you tired of feeling weak? You've tried everything that you can do to improve your strength in the gym. We're gonna give you 5 unique as methods that you can do today in your workout. And we're gonna start right now. Let's start with a 60-second breakdown. So that first key factor is that we have to stimulate adaptation. And that's gonna take us into that second key, which is we need to see that adaptation through mechanical loading that will potentially lead to muscular damage, that will also lead to some possible metabolic stress. And we can also see those adaptations improve through the third key aspect, which is going to be neural coordination. So if we can improve our neural coordination, that can also lead to strength gains. So the fourth key factor is that we probably should be using compound movements so that we can elicit this big time response. That fifth key factor is that we want to see an improvement from our brain communicating with our body so that we can understand those improvements from neural drive and from those adaptations required through improving muscular hypertrophy. This first method, this will set up for crazy stimulation, and this is a banger. So this is one of the first crazy set modulators that I learned from Charles Poliquin, and we need to make sure that when you're getting into your training, you've got your 100% max written down. Let's say that 100K is your actual max, so 100 kilos or even just 100 pounds, because I'm bad at math. Now, do your proper warm-up so that you can ramp up effectively, but the first set, we're gonna do 90 kilos for 1 rep, okay? So that first set is a 90 kilos, so 90% of your best for 1 rep. Remember, you've gotta make sure that you warm up effectively. You should just watch our warm-up video so you can actually do that properly. And then we're gonna drop down, okay? So we're gonna rest about 2 to 4 minutes. Now we're gonna drop down to 70 kilos and we're gonna hit that for 6 reps. Now we're gonna go back and we're gonna jump up to 92.5%, or in our case, 92.5 pounds or kilos, depending on which measurement you wanna use, and you're gonna hit that for a single. So now you should be feeling pretty yoked. So now we're gonna drop down, let's rest another 2 to 4 minutes, something along those lines, likely 2 to 3 minutes, especially if you're using the Peak Strength app, which is gonna tell you about 2.5 to 3 minutes for absolute strength. Now we're gonna drop down, okay, for this set of 6, which will be at 75%, or in our case, 75 kilos, or pounds, depending upon which measurement that you prefer to use. Okay, so we're gonna hit that for a set of 6 at 75%. Rest for another 2 to 3 minutes, and we're gonna ratchet back up, and we're gonna hit 95% for a single. Okay, so we're starting to feel really, really good. This is our third single. We're gonna hit that. Okay, we're gonna smoke that. Then we're gonna rest about 2 to 4 minutes, and then we're gonna come back down for that set of 6. This is gonna be our third set of 6, and we're gonna do this at 80%. Okay, so we're gonna hit 80% for a set of 6. So this is called the 1-6 method. What I like to do is I wanna follow this as strictly as I possibly can the first week or 2 weeks that I'm doing it. But then as I progress through, I might start to push those sets of 6. And the whole goal that I have around this, and this is something that Poliquin talks about, is that you're really using that single to potentiate what's gonna happen with those sets of 6. Okay, so if you're in week 4 or week 5 or week 6 and you're using the 1-6 method, now you can start to potentiate that even further, where you might hit 82%, 83% for a set of 6, and that's when you're gonna see some serious freaking growth. Now, what if you wanna focus simply on strength?
I got you, bruh. Here's where we can use one of my absolute all-time favorite methods when we're talking about technical coordination, and you can even use this with absolute strength. Remember, technical coordination movements would be doing something like power snatch, a full snatch, a power clean, a 1-box clean, a behind the neck jerk, a push press, even a Pennsylvania press. So this is gonna be using a method known as waves. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with 1 set of 3. So again, let's say we're doing a back squat or we're doing a power clean. We're gonna do a triple at 78%. And we're gonna do a double at 83%. Now, we're gonna have 2 to 3 minutes rest in between. Then we're gonna go to a single, again, 2 to 3 minutes rest in between, and we're gonna do that single at 88%. So we're going triple, 78%, double, 83%, single, 88%. That's gonna help us really start to feel freaking good. Now, here's where it gets very, very fun. You're gonna go back and do a triple, and we're gonna do that triple at 83%. Okay, then we're gonna rest 2 to 3 minutes. Then we're gonna hit a double. That double is gonna be at 88%. Okay, so that double, 88%. Then we're gonna do a single after we rest 2 to 3 minutes, and we're gonna hit that single at 93%. Okay, so we're doing 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1 at different percentages. The big thing here is that it forces you to improve your technique while also ramping your nervous system and stimulating your mind. One of the cool parts that happens here is you have this disconnect. Okay, you let the GTO, you let the muscle spindles take over and just let the body get in the flow. And then we've got one more set, one more triple, and that triple will be done at 88% of your max, okay? So ideally, you hit all those reps, right? Now you have a newfound triple, okay, a new 3-rep max that's gonna help you with your overall strength, and in turn, you're gonna have better technique because of the coordination. So it's 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, and that's one of my favorite waves that I like to use to improve overall strength.
Being real though, this is really hard, which is why it's important that you should be recovering as well as you possibly can and supplementing as effectively as possible. And you should be eating as well as possible too. Maybe you're eating something like liver, but not the anabolic steroid liver.
Yes.
Liver is one of the most nutritious foods that you could possibly eat. It's loaded with vitamin A. It's loaded with vitamin K, MK4, MK7. It's also loaded with CoQ10. It's got a little bit of protein in there. It's gonna give you a ton of those B vitamins as well. That's gonna be key not only during the workout with these crazy rep schemes, but also for long-term recovery on a chronic basis. The problem with liver is that it doesn't taste that good to most people. In comes today's video sponsor, Purely Liver from North American Herb and Spice. Purely Liver is 100% grass-fed and finished beef liver from New Zealand-based farmers, and it's additive and chemical-free. If you want to get on those Purely Liver gains, head over to North American Herb and Spice, click on the link down below, and make sure that you use the code GARAGESTRENGTH at checkout for 15% off your order of Purely Liver. It tastes great. Now let's get back to these crazy set modulators, because this next one is going to blow you away. But Dane, I just want to get freaking big. These next two are perfect for you, but the next one is absolutely brutal. Remember the Mattis cluster set? We did a video on that. I know you watched that video. So we're gonna use that for an example. This is gonna help us get a ton of strength, but bear with me when we're talking about the size portion. Now, we've gotta prepare and set up for a cluster set, and this is gonna be done on 30 seconds rest. We're gonna explain that cluster again, even though I do know you watched the original video. So again, we need to know your 100% maximum. Let's say we're using an exercise like a back squat. Let's say we pick in that 100% maximum now, 80 to 90%, depending upon our skill level. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 5 doubles with 30 seconds rest. And this is gonna be with that 80 to 90% intensity range. So ideally, you would have a training partner loading the weight for you. Let's say we take 80 kilos as a double and we rest 30 seconds. After that 30 seconds, maybe we go to 83 kilos. That's gonna be your second double. We rest 30 seconds. If we go to 85 kilos, we rest 30 seconds. Now, the point here is that ideally, your training partner is gonna be loading your weight. All you're doing is squatting, you're hitting a double, rack it. Rest for 30 seconds, you do that again. You're gonna do that 5 total times. So you're gonna ramp up 5 sets of 2 with 30 seconds rest over 5 sets. So that 30 seconds of rest should give you enough time to restore enough ATP that you can still have strength gains and you can still have that mechanical load. Okay, so what I like to do now is during the 5 doubles, okay, try to be aware of what you're doing. Let's say in the back squat, for an example, if I'm leaning forward during that position, let's say on the 8th, 9th, 10th rep, now I'm starting to see, all right, my back, I'm starting to lean forward a little bit. That might be weak quads as well, or if I'm struggling to really lock out on the finish, it might be a little bit of weak quads that we're looking at. So we're seeing in that compound movement, what is the actual weak point in that chain? Let's use bench for an example, okay? That might be a little bit clearer. Let's say on the 8th, 9th, 10th rep, I can't actually lock out the bench. Let's say I'm here and I'm getting stuck, 9th rep, I fail, 10th rep, I fail. Fortunately, we have a training partner, okay? Or we're just really, really struggling right at that lockout. We can get it off our chest, but we struggle with the lockout. What that tells us from a mechanical movement perspective is that our triceps are probably really weak. This is where we're gonna get really, really creative. We wanna isolate those muscles using that bench press example, the triceps. We wanna isolate the triceps and give them tons and tons of volume. Like enough volume that it would blow up Bikini Atoll. Yeah, Wikipedia that So again, in this case, we're gonna pick 2 bodybuilding movements that will help improve that compound movement. Okay, so we did the Mattis cluster set, right? That's gonna get us extremely strong. It's really challenging, 80 to 90%. 5 doubles, okay, 30 seconds rest. Now, we know that my triceps are weak from the bench and my quads are weak from the squat. I wanna hit it with volume now. I'm gonna isolate my triceps. We know based off of recent research, triceps in an overhead position respond very, very well. If my lockout sucks, that's a nice way that we can do some bodybuilding movements to elicit a response to improve my overall bench. Okay, so I wanna get into that overhead position now, and I'm gonna go 2-way. It's gonna be the tricep extension in an overhead position. Okay, 4 sets of 17, and we're gonna superset that with rolling triceps on the bench, which you'll see. So here, for my ego, I wanna max out the entire rack and blow up my bench. So, that was really hard. Oh my gosh, I actually think doing 1 real heavy set here and then 3 drop sets for crazy volume, that's gonna blow you up. This is a great way to increase your strength and your size. So 2B would be another isolation movement, but we're gonna use a little bit of this movement that's gonna contribute to, say, the bench press. So if we're gonna use the squat as an example, we could do leg extensions if we have weak quads, and then we could in turn do something like a leg press after that to really isolate the quads. I have weak quads, but that has nothing to do with my triceps right now. So using the bench press example, 2B would be doing like a rolling tricep like this. So there's a little bit of a press, okay? It's almost like combining a miracle grow, or actually a dumbbell tele extension to improve that tricep strength and also have a better response and a better transfer over to the bench press, which is what we did during the Mattis cluster set. Do this for 4 sets of 17 to 20. So the big factor here is that we are doing the Mattis cluster set with a major compound movement, and then we're gonna treat that weak point with a ton of isolation, which again, gives us that needed volume.
This one is the Pump King.
Okay, so this is gonna be an old school pyramid, okay? Old school pyramid. This is like my first experience with set modulators was really based off of pyramid styles of training. This is like pyramids my dad would sort of write up on our whiteboard in our garage back in the day. Actually back in the day with this very squat rack behind us. There's old videos on YouTube from like 2007, 2008 where we are still using that rack, and I use this all the way back to 1999. Anyway, let's get back to the pyramids. No, not the pyramids that everybody thinks that aliens put there. A pyramid scheme. No, not Amway, not Melaleuca, an actual pyramid for training. I got some good ones. Okay, so let's use this for a bench press for an example. That's gonna make things really, really easy. You've got your peak performance planner, you write down your 100% max. Okay, your 100% max is 300 pounds. Now, get 70% of 300 pounds and do that for a set of 9. And you're gonna rest about 1.5 minutes. Remember, this is pump based, entirely pump based. You're gonna rest for 1.5 minutes. Then we're gonna do a set of 7. We're gonna do that set of 7 at 74%. You're gonna rest for 1.5 minutes. Then we're gonna do a set of 5. That's gonna be at 78%. So it's 9, 7, 5. We hit that set of 5 at 78%. Now here's the kicker, is that next set is gonna be another set of 7, but it's still gonna maintain 78%. And you should be able to hit this, okay? You're gonna wake up and you should be able to hit that 7 reps at 78%. That shouldn't be overly challenging. And then we're gonna drop down to the set of 9 and we're gonna do that at 72%. Now, if you remember on the front end, we did that at 70%. If you feel really, really strong, try it at 74%, okay? On the first time that you do this, you should probably just do it at 72%, but each time you practice this, you should be able to get a little bit heavier on that set of 9. Now, the absolute craziest part of this pyramid, and this is where you're really gonna have to grow a pair, is that you're gonna go around 68 to 70%, and you're gonna try and hit that for 17 total reps. So it goes 9, 7, 5, 7, 9, 17, get slaughtered, get an absolute crazy pump, And on top of that, if you do this 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row, you're gonna start to even increase your overall strength, and you're gonna see those percentages relative to week 1 are actually gonna be a lot heavier. The weight is gonna be a lot heavier. Now, the biggest thing with something challenging like this is try to have minimal amounts of distractions, stay focused, and just smash the actual work. Now, this is our last crazy set modulator that if you really wanna focus on your overall strength, try this today, because this is probably the one I use the most frequently with my throwers, with my weightlifters, and even football players. And this is known as the static ramp complement. And we're gonna use this for technical coordination movements, like the cleans, like the snatches, like the jerks. And we can also use this for absolute strength movements, like front squats, like back squats, like single leg squats, like bench press, like pull-ups, like dumbbell bench press if we're going really heavy, dips, anything like that, right? Now let's go with a very quick definition of static and ramp. And what do those mean? Okay, static would mean I'm gonna do all my sets across, so I'm static, I'm holding a static position. Ramping would mean I'm adding weight each set while I'm still maintaining the same amount of reps, okay? So you're gonna see this, what I mean. So when we're getting into this, let's start with 4 doubles static, okay? 4 doubles static, 82 to 84%. So if we're doing a snatch, and my best snatch is 100 kilos, we're gonna do 82 to 84 kilos for 4 doubles, okay? We wanna hold that position the whole way across for all 4 doubles. This would apply to absolute strength movements as well. Static, hold. Be in the holding pattern and just get those reps moving. Now, here's where we get interesting. The 4 doubles for ramping, we will start at that static position. Okay, so we're gonna say, let's say it's 84 kilos or 82 kilos, wherever it was that you held that static all the way across. We hit that 84 kilos, then we're gonna go 86 kilos. Then we wanna go 88 kilos. Then we wanna go 90 kilos. Let's see if we can double 90 kilos. That's 90% of our max. Let's see if we can push even more. Let's go 92 kilos for a double. And what that does is typically the juices are rolling, okay? You're starting to feel pretty freaking good. You're dialing in that technique. So think of these 4 doubles, okay, static. We're going straight across. We're holding that 84 kilos. We're just getting the technique instilled in our nervous system so that we don't sweat the technique. If we hit those static sets at 84 kilos all the way across, everything just gets rolling. We get into a really good groove, and then that leads us into that ramp. So we're gonna ramp by doing 86 kilos for a double, then 88 kilos for a double, then 90 kilos for a double. And now, because we're not sweating the technique, we hit a monster double PR at 92%. And that in turn tells us if we hit a double at 92% of our max likely is going up. So that's where we have the static ramp complement. I mentioned don't sweat the technique. Comment down below with what are your favorite tunes to listen to when you're trying to smash big weight. So try these set modulators out today. I think you should take one of these and just go in and destroy yourself and see how you feel. And if you guys want more content, make sure you check out the video that we made on how to build athletic muscle. And if you need help with your training, you need something to hold you accountable, you need something that actually provides rest periods, check out our app, Peak Strength. You can head over to Peak Strength, the Google Play Store, or the Apple iOS Store, and download that today to get on your journey to being swole. Because remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.